Hi, this is John, Flat Six Motorsports, just bringing another update about our Macan intake system development for the plastic version of this. And last episode we talked a little bit about the different types of manufacturing processes. And one thing we wanted to put a little more attention to was the opportunity to do some additive manufacturing here in-house with a FDM industrial 3D printer. So we're still exploring that concept along with paralleling some other ones, but just wanted to go into actually testing the materials. So before I get into the science experiment going on here, we do a lot of testing with the product. So the actual material itself has to have certain performance characteristics to withstand the heat of an engine bay. So what we did is we rigged up a data logger to log the temperature at the airbox that had a probe right at the airbox. Then we also rigged up a piece of the least performing version of one of these and put it a little closer to the engine so it absorbs a little more heat, just to understand over time, will it crack, warp, that kind of thing. So we do that with all the materials. The one we've been running for about a month is the worst performing of them, but we're also logging all of the heat, and what we've found out is under extreme load, sustained extreme load, it can reach about 188 degrees Fahrenheit right there at the airbox. Now this is with the closed top OEM airbox, and it's on the outside perimeter, so likely it's actually going to be cooler for the actual part that we put on with our kit, but we want to try to go as extreme as possible to understand what material we would need to use. And it sustains about an average of 114 degrees Fahrenheit over the course of this last week that we've been testing. And that includes time driving the car and parked. Ironically, when it's parked, it retains a lot of heat because the heat has nowhere to go. So that increases the average temperature until, about 12 hours with the car being off overnight or something, then it finally cools down to more of an ambient temperature. Okay, so let's look at some of the materials that we've been testing. This is one manufacturer that makes a very nicely treated premium plastic. It is stronger than an ABS, more heat resistant, also has better UV properties, and it's an acrylic styrene type plastic, which is likely what we've settled on. But this is just one manufacturer version of it. Here is that same manufacturer with an ABS plastic. ABS is very common underneath the engine bay. It has good heat resistance and that kind of stuff, but the quality of this, as far as the printing of it, is a little bit sacrificed compared to this other one. The best materials that we can get in terms of print, quality as far as the finish is right here. This is an organic compound plastic that actually is, we'd love to use because it's a little more environmentally friendly. And here's another version of it just in red, but give you a sense. It has a nice kind of matte finish, kind of satin finish. Now we use this for our GoPro little clip for the 718 and 981 Caymans, but here, the risk is just the heat. It doesn't have as much of a heat tolerance. And so we're concerned about that. Even though our testing has gone well, we're concerned over the long period of time because we've been testing for about a month now with different heat cycle lengths. And we even, put the thing in the oven at sustained heat cycles of 200 degrees Fahrenheit for 6 hours and kept doing that every hour, cycling on and off, and didn't observe much shrinkage. But again, we want to be a little bit cautious here because the last thing we want to do is, release a product and then 2-3 years later, there's going to be a problem with something warping or cracking or something like that. So we pretty much ruled these guys out. This is just to show you a carbon fiber nylon. So this is a really cool material, very expensive, exotic material. It doesn't print as well, so it needs a lot of post-processing cleanup. You can kind of see some of this pitting right here, which would require sanding, and then you're gonna have to, apply some type of finish to it, which is a little bit complicated. So once we kind of centered around this type of plastic, we tried a few different types of settings and a couple different manufacturers. So here are two other ones that are, very the same material, just a little different, a different manufacturer. So we've settled on this family of plastics for the heat and performance properties. And then these are just some samples we had of just exploring different types of extruding temperatures, just to understand the finish, the quality, the adhesion of all the layers, because 3D printing prints layer by layer. So it's a little bit different of a plastic manufacturing process. And those kind of represent a few different extrusion temperatures and it's heated chamber temperatures as well. Then we also did kind of a little bit more of a high definition, better layer quality, just a lot smaller, takes a lot longer to do that. And there really wasn't much of a benefit there. We also tried some other third-party applications as far as finishes, like heat treatment. So here's a piece that has been heat treated. This was just a science experiment. You can see that coating right here, which can withstand 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It's used on headers and stuff, but it gives it a very, very matte finish, which I don't think is gonna match the airbox and other plastics inside of the engine bay as well. So we've kind of ruled that out. This was a failed experiment there that did not bond as well, and that was just kind of a demo prototype. These have been hacked up. This was a really cheap PLA. This is typically what most enthusiasts and stuff will print with at home with a 3D printer, and you can kind of see it has a lot of shine gloss. It's not really that great of quality, but we just wanted to see what some of these treatments would do with that coating, and actually came out pretty good. But again, these are a little bit too matte for the plastic that you're gonna see inside of your engine bay. So something like this is gonna be a lot closer of a match. So we're not gonna have a lot of contrast in terms of the sheen on top of this, sitting on top of the airbox. So that's where we're at with materials. We've kind of really honed in on this family of plastics. We are right now printing our first full prototype that's gonna go on the car. So we're gonna take off some of the testing rig that we have on there now, and we're gonna start testing that. And then in the, I guess, next 2 weeks, we should have a better understanding once we get some prototypes in from another 3D printing process called SLS that builds it layer by layer with a laser and a powder. That has a little more of a nylon blend. We're gonna kind of look at the two in terms of performance of the actual plastic itself, but also the finish. We really want to deliver a high quality plastic finish, and maybe that sounds a little bit confusing to some people. We've done carbon fiber in the past, which obviously has a beautiful, nice finish. But plastic is really hard to nail too sometimes, especially when you're trying to match high quality look with the plastics that are inside the engine bay. So we're going down this path. We're really excited about the opportunity that this might present for us to kind of own more of the manufacturing process in-house. But we're still undecided yet which direction we're going to go with that. Just wanted to kind of give you guys an update and show you some of the testing that happens behind the scenes that a lot of people don't get to see, and just hopefully it gives you a little appreciation for some of the work we do to design, develop, engineer products, test products, validate products. Obviously we do a lot of this with our own products, but even other partner vendors that we use, we test, we dyno test consistently with power claims and stuff. So that's a lot of the value that we try to add to our customers is good information, install guides, things like that, but also testing. Does it do what it says it's gonna do? Are you gonna be buying a product that's gonna perform for a long period of time and bring high satisfaction? So that's really our goal in terms of the product development and sharing that information with you. So I hope you enjoyed. If you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe. We'll have probably another update on this before we kind of finalize our plans going forward. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments regarding this process or anything else you'd like to see, please comment below. And definitely check us out at flat6motorsports.com. Thank you.